So today in my social studies class, we covered the basics of Greek philosophy, and part of that included the theory of forms by Plato. Now, I don't fully understand the theory of forms, and I don't expect my students to, but I'm trying to introduce this topic to them as a way to critically think and understand the kind of questions that philosophers would ask. If you don't know what the theory of forms is, it's essentially the idea that the perfect circle does not exist. You have never seen one in your life, ever, a perfect circle. It has always been, no matter how close it has been to perfect, microscopically, at the minimum, imperfect. And yet, you know what a perfect circle is. Similarly, the straight line does not exist. You have never in your life seen a perfectly straight line, but you know what a perfectly straight line should be. The idea exists. The concept here is that nothing is really real. Ideas are real, concepts are real, but things that are physical are just imitations of the concepts. Here's another example. Think of a pencil. Think of what this pencil would have, the qualities and characteristics that this pencil would have. If you're like my sixth graders, you probably said something about a yellow piece of wood with an eraser at the end, a metal band, and lead in the middle that you can write with. I present to you a pencil that does not meet those characteristic descriptions, but is still a pencil. So then, does the pencil exist? Or does the concept of pencils exist and our brain fills in the gaps? Now, Plato was specifically using this to refer to a metaphysical realm, a spiritual, if you will, realm, where everything existed as a perfect concept or idea, and then here on a physical realm, where everything existed as an imperfect version of that temporarily. This also ties into an idea from Socrates that one thing cannot be made up of many things, and many things cannot be made up of one thing. Going back to this pencil, this would be not just a pencil, but many things in a pencil, like wood, and whatever that colored stuff is that allows you to draw, and paint on the outside, and glue to hold the two halves of the wood together. Which means that nothing is just one thing, but a bunch of ingredients of things. You are not a human, you are a bunch of ingredients in a form that we call a human. Plato's theory of forms was an attempt to solve that problem of, can there be many things that are one thing and one thing that are many things? You see, a concept is one thing. The idea of a pencil is one thing, from which you can have many different kinds of pencils. Conversely, you can have, from many different components, one physical thing by having the form of a pencil. Usually when I explain this to sixth graders, it's a brand new concept and their minds kind of explode, and it's hilarious because they go from being cocky to questioning their very existence. Not in a bad way, but a critical thinking way. And I tell them this is not necessarily exactly how the universe works, but it was a theory that got us to learn more.